That girl again.
She's always talking to herself. See? She's talking to the air again.
Angel, should I help him?
What is she doing?
Someone stop that girl!
Ah! Please! Please don't touch my eyes!
I won't hurt you, Baba Sani, I promise.
Amanda, what are you doing? The voice came from inside the crowd, sharp, scared, and loud enough to cut through the noise. People were already gathered in a wide circle at the center of Ida Kingdom's market square. Women with baskets on their heads, men with folded arms, little children standing on tiptoes trying to see. In the middle of that circle, a blind man sat on the dusty ground. His name was Baba Sani. Everyone knew him. He was the man who used to sing for alms near the old mango tree. His voice was always soft, but his pain was loud. You could hear it in the way he sighed. You could see it in how his hands shook when he held his walking stick. This morning, Baba Sani was not singing. He was crying. Not loud crying. The kind that makes the soul ache. His eyes were open, but they looked empty. And right in front of him stood a young girl. Small, slim, barefoot, with a simple blue dress and dusty knees. Amanda, only 9 years old. Her lips were moving. But she was not talking to the people. She was talking to someone no one could see. Some people whispered already. That girl again. She is talking to herself. She is not normal. She is always doing strange things. But Amanda didn't look strange in that moment. She looked serious, like someone much older. Her face was calm, but her eyes were full of something deep, like fear and courage fighting inside her at the same time. Then Amanda lifted her hands, slowly. But the crowd moved back a little. Somebody's basket fell with a soft thud. A baby stopped crying. Even the wind stopped blowing because the blind man suddenly shouted, "Ah, please, please don't touch my eyes." His voice shook the market like thunder. Amanda didn't run away. She didn't cry. She leaned closer and spoke gently, like she was speaking to a sick child. "I won't hurt you, Baba Sani," she said. "I promise." People gasped because Amanda was not supposed to be there, and her mother had told her not to come to the market alone. Her father had warned her to avoid the crowd because the neighborhood children always mocked her. But she was here now, standing in front of everyone, and doing the one thing nobody expected. Then the blind man began to tremble. Not because Amanda hit him, no, it was like something invisible had entered the space, something powerful, something that made the hairs on people's arms rise. Amanda whispered again, but her words were too low for the crowd to hear. Still, Baba Sani reacted like he heard a voice inside his head. His body stiffened, his mouth opened. His hands grabbed the ground like he was about to fall off the earth. Then he screamed, "My eyes! My eyes are burning!" The crowd panicked. "Jesus, stop her! She has harmed him. Hold the girl." A woman rushed forward, but a man pulled her back. "Don't touch her. Something is happening." Amanda's mother, Mama Nkechi, suddenly pushed through the crowd with tears in her eyes. "Amanda!" she shouted. "Amanda, come here now." Amanda didn't move. Her father, Papa Chinedu, ran behind her mother, breathing hard. He looked ready to carry Amanda away. But when he got closer, he froze too, because he saw Amanda's face. She was crying, but not like a scared child. Her tears were falling quietly, like she was carrying something heavy. Then she spoke again, this time louder. "Baba Sani, open your eyes. Even if you can't see yet, open them." Baba Sani shook his head. I can't. It is dark." "I know," Amanda said softly, "but please, try." The crowd leaned forward. Even the people who were shouting before became silent. Baba Sani's fingers trembled as he slowly lifted his hands away from his face. His eyes were still open, still empty, still blind. Amanda stepped closer, and then she did the most shocking thing. She placed her small palm gently on Baba Sani's forehead and then said clearly, "Angel, please, do it now." The crowd went completely still because they all heard that word, angel. A man laughed nervously. "See, she's mad." But the laugh died fast because at that exact moment, Baba Sani stopped shaking, his breathing changed, his face softened. His shoulders dropped like a load had been removed from his body. Then he whispered, almost like a dream, I can feel cool water. Cool water. There was no water, no one poured anything, no one even moved. But Baba Sani's voice sounded certain. Amanda smiled through her tears. That's it, she whispered. That means it's working. The crowd began to murmur again. What is she doing? Is it prayer? Is it medicine? Is it witchcraft? Mama Nkechi held her chest, shaking. Papa Chinedu wanted to step forward, but his legs refused to move. Because suddenly, Baba Sani's eyes blinked. Once, twice. Then he gasped so loudly that everyone jumped, and he shouted, I saw something. The market exploded. What did you see? Baba Sani. Did he really see? Baba Sani held his head like it would burst. I saw light, just small light, like a candle. Amanda's lips parted. Her whole body shook now, not from fear, from shock, like even she didn't expect it to happen so fast. Then the neighborhood children, those same kids who always bullied Amanda, pushed forward. One of them, a boy named Koladi, shouted, Lie, he is lying. Amanda can't do anything. Aishi is weird, but Baba Sani suddenly pointed straight at Kolade, and everyone froze again. Because Baba Sani was blind, he wasn't supposed to point at anybody. Yet his finger was steady, and it was aimed directly at the boy. Kolade's mouth slowly opened. He stepped back. How did you… Baba Sani's eyes widened. He blinked again. Then he looked around like someone waking up from a long sleep. His voice became louder, stronger, filled with fear and joy at the same time. I can see shadows, people. Amanda took a step back. Her legs almost gave out. Mama Nkechi screamed and ran to her daughter. Papa Chinedu followed, but even he was shaking. Baba Sani's head turned slowly. Then he stared straight at Amanda. Not near her, not around her, at her, and he whispered with a broken voice, Little girl, I can see you. The entire market square went silent. Nobody breathed, nobody blinked. Amanda stared back, tears rolling down her cheeks. Then Baba Sani shouted the words that would change everything. I can see, I can see. People screamed. Some fell to their knees, some clapped, some ran away in fear, some shouted, Miracle, miracle. But in the middle of that chaos, Amanda suddenly grabbed her head, like she heard something painful. Her smile disappeared. Her eyes became frightened. Then she whispered to the empty air again, Angel, what do you mean they're coming? Mama Nkechi held her tight. Coming? Who is coming? Amanda didn't answer her mother. She looked past the crowd, toward the narrow road that led into the market, and her face turned pale, because in the distance, a group of men were pushing through the people, big men, hard faces, and in front of them was a tall woman with sharp eyes and red beads on her neck. The woman stared straight at Amanda, like she had been looking for her, and she smiled, slow and dangerous. Amanda's voice shook as she whispered, Mommy, we have to run. But before Mama Nkechi could ask why, the woman raised her hand and shouted, That girl, grab her! And the whole crowd turned into chaos again, people screaming, pushing, running. As the men started forcing their way toward Amanda, baskets fell, tomatoes rolled across the dusty ground. A baby cried loudly, people screamed and scattered in all directions. Mama Nkechi grabbed Amanda's hand tightly. Run, she shouted. Papa Chinedu stepped in front of them, trying to block the tall woman with the red beads. What do you want with my daughter? He demanded, his voice shaking but strong. The tall woman did not answer him. She kept smiling. It was not a happy smile, it was the kind of smile that makes your stomach twist. Amanda's heart was beating fast, her ears felt hot, her head felt full. The angel's voice whispered inside her again, Don't be afraid, you are not alone. Amanda swallowed hard. Daddy, they know, she whispered. Know what? Papa Chinedu asked quickly. That I can do it again. The blind man, Baba Sani, was still shouting behind them. I can see your faces. But now nobody was celebrating. Fear had replaced joy. The big men were getting closer. One of them pushed a fruit seller aside, another knocked over a wooden table. Khaled, the boy who used to bully Amanda, ran past her with wide eyes. "They're from the palace," he yelled. "They serve the royal priestess." The royal priestess. Everyone in Ida Kingdom knew her name. Iyalode Morenike. She was the keeper of traditions. The one who said who was blessed and who was cursed. The one who claimed to speak to spirits. People feared her. People obeyed her, and now she was walking toward Amanda with slow, careful steps. Papa Chinedu pulled Amanda behind him. "My daughter has done nothing wrong," he said loudly. Iyalode Morenike stopped a few steps away. Child," she said softly. Her voice was child, she said softly. Her voice was calm, too calm. Mama Nkechi felt cold. "She is only a child," she pleaded. "Please, let us go home." The priestess tilted her head. "A child who commands angels?" she asked. The crowd gasped again. Amanda's fingers trembled. "I didn't command," she said quietly. "I only asked." The priestess's eyes narrowed. "And you healed a blind man in the open market," she said. "Do you know what that means?" Amanda shook her head. "It means," the priestess continued, "that the balance of power in this kingdom has shifted." The words felt heavy. Papa Chinedu frowned. "What power? She only helped someone." The priestess stepped closer. "In Ida Kingdom," she said, "miracles belong to the shrine, to the elders, to the chosen ones." She looked straight at Amanda. "Not to little girls who talk to invisible friends." Some people nodded nervously. Some looked confused. Amanda felt the angel's voice again. "Stay calm. Do not let fear choose for you." The priestess raised her hand. "Bring her," she ordered. Two men stepped forward. Papa Chinedu spread his arms wide. "You will not touch her." One of the men grabbed Papa Chinedu roughly and pushed him aside. He fell to the ground. "Daddy!" Amanda cried. Mama Nkechi screamed and tried to pull Amanda away. "I'm of tears." "Please," she whispered. "I have tears." "Please," she whispered. "I don't want to hurt anyone." The man hesitated for a second. Just a second. Then the priestess spoke again. "Take her to the palace." The crowd parted as they began walking. People whispered, "She is dangerous. She is special. She is chosen. She is cursed." Baba Sani, now able to see shapes and faces, tried to stand. "But she healed me," he shouted. "She is good." But no one listened. Amanda turned her head toward her parents as she was being led away. Her mother was crying loudly. Her father was struggling to stand. "Be brave, my child," Papa Chinedu shouted. "We are coming for you." Amanda nodded slowly. She wasn't shaking anymore. She wasn't crying anymore. She felt something different now. Not fear, something like understanding. The angel's voice came again. "This is part of it." "What part of what?" Amanda whispered. "Your mission." The road to the palace felt longer than ever. The sun was hot. Dust rose with every step. The tall palace gates came into view. Amanda had never been this close before. The walls were high and painted white. Guards stood at attention. As they entered, the market noise faded behind them. Inside the palace courtyard, it was quiet. Too quiet. The priestess walked ahead. "Bring her to the council hall," she ordered. They passed carved wooden doors and tall pillars. Amanda felt small, very small, but she also felt something else, like a light inside her chest. The council hall doors opened. Inside, elders sat in a circle, old men with white beards, women with serious faces. The king himself sat at the far end, wearing a golden crown. King Adeyemi. He looked confused. "What is this?" he asked. The priestess bowed slightly. "Your Majesty, this child performed a miracle in the market." The hall murmured. "A miracle?" "She healed Baba Sani," the priestess said. "He now sees." The king leaned forward. "Is this true?" One of the palace guards nodded. "We have confirmed it, Your Majesty." The king looked at Amanda. She stood alone in the center of the hall. Barefoot, dusty, small. "Child," the king said gently, "did you heal the man?" Amanda swallowed. "Yes." "How?" She hesitated, because she knew what would happen if she said it. But she also knew she could not lie. "I asked my angel," she said. The hall went silent. The priestess crossed her arms. "Your Majesty," she said sharply, "this is dangerous. If people believe miracles can happen outside the shrine, they will no longer fear the traditions." The king looked thoughtful. Amanda felt the angel whisper again, "Truth does not fear tradition." The king stood up slowly. He walked down the steps of his throne and stopped right in front of Amanda. "You are very young," he said softly, "but what you have done has shaken this kingdom." Amanda looked up at him. "I only wanted to help," she said. The king studied her face, not with anger, not with fear, with curiosity. Suddenly, a guard rushed into the hall. "Your Majesty," he shouted, "there is a crowd outside the palace." "What do they want?" the king asked. "They are shouting the girl's name." The priestess's eyes flashed. Amanda's heart skipped. "What are they saying?" the king demanded. The guard swallowed. "They are calling her the Light of Ida." The hall erupted in whispers. The priestess's smile disappeared. The king looked back at Amanda slowly. But before he could speak, Amanda suddenly gasped. She grabbed her chest, her knees buckled. The light inside her felt like it was flickering. The angel's voice sounded faint. "Be careful. They are not the only ones watching." Amanda's vision blurred. The hall began to spin, and as she fell toward the ground, she saw something behind the priestess. Something dark, not human, standing like a shadow, watching her and smiling. Amanda's knees hit the cold palace floor. The sound echoed in the council hall. "Mandy!" Mama Nkechi's voice rang from the doorway. Somehow she and Papa Chinedu had made it inside. But Amanda could not answer. Her eyes were fixed on the space behind Iyalode Morenike, because the shadow was still there, tall, long, twisted. It did not belong to any person in the room. And yet, it moved. "Do not look at it for too long. Amanda, do not look at it for too long." Amanda blinked hard. The shadow faded slightly. The priestess stepped forward. "Your Majesty, you see? The child is unstable," she said quickly. "Power like this is not safe." The king frowned. "Bring water," he ordered. Papa Chinedu rushed to Amanda's side and lifted her gently. "My child." "Ah, look at me," he whispered. "What is wrong?" Amanda grabbed his shirt tightly. "Daddy, there is something behind her," she breathed. "Behind who?" "Behind the priestess." Papa Chinedu slowly turned his head. He saw nothing, only the priestess, standing tall and calm. The elders began whispering again. The crowd outside the palace gates was getting louder. "Light of Ida! Light of Ida! Let her speak!" The chant rose like waves crashing against the palace walls. The king looked troubled. Iyalode Moreniki's face hardened. "This is exactly why she must be contained," she said. "The people are already turning their eyes away from the shrine." Amanda forced herself to sit up straight. Her chest still hurt, but the angel's voice grew stronger again. "This is the real fight." "What fight?" Amanda whispered. The priestess's sharp ears caught the whisper. "She is speaking to it again," she said. "To who?" the king asked. "The spirit she claims gives her power." Amanda shook her head. "It is not a bad spirit," she said softly. "It is light." The priestess laughed, but it was not kind. "Light?" she said. "Then why does darkness follow you?" Amanda's heart jumped. Did the priestess see it too? Or was she only guessing? The king raised his hand to silence everyone. "Enough," he said firmly. He walked back to his throne, but did not sit. "Child," he said to Amanda, "can you heal anyone else?" The hall became still again. Amanda hesitated. "I don't know," she answered honestly. "See, it depends." "On what?" the king asked. "On what the angel says." The priestess stepped forward again. "Your Majesty, this is rebellion," she said. "If she can heal freely, the shrine will lose its power. The balance of Ida will break." "Or perhaps," the king replied calmly, "the balance is changing." The priestess's eyes flashed with anger. Outside, the chants grew louder. "Show us the girl. Let her speak." Suddenly, a loud crash shook the hall. The palace gates had been pushed open. Villagers poured into the courtyard. Guards tried to hold them back, but the people were not angry. They were excited, hopeful. Baba Sani appeared at the front of the crowd. He was walking without his stick. slowly, carefully, but walking straight. "I can see the sky," he shouted joyfully. "I can see the king's palace." The king stepped outside the hall doors to look. The crowd bowed slightly, but kept chanting Amanda's name. Amanda stood up with her father's help. She felt stronger now, and the shadow behind the priestess flickered again. This time it stretched longer across the floor, like it did not like the cheers. The angel whispered urgently, "It feeds on fear, it hides behind pride." Amanda's eyes widened. Pride. The priestess. Suddenly, Amanda understood something. She looked at Ayalode Morenike carefully. The priestess was not only angry, she was afraid. Afraid of losing control, afraid of losing respect, afraid of being replaced. "Majesty," Amanda said bravely. "May I, Majesty?" Amanda said bravely. "May I speak to the people?" Gasps filled the air. "She is only 9. Let her talk." The king studied her for a long moment, then he nodded. Amanda walked out into the courtyard. The sun was bright. The crowd quieted slowly. Baba Sani smiled at her with tears in his eyes. "Thank you, little one," he said. Amanda looked at everyone, all the faces. Even Khalad was there, staring at her like she was something new. She felt small again, but she also felt ready. "I didn't mean to cause trouble," she began softly. The people leaned closer. "I only helped because I was told to help." "By who?" someone shouted. Amanda took a deep breath. "By my angel." Some people nodded, some looked confused, but no one laughed this time. "Does that mean you can heal all of us?" a woman asked desperately. My son is sick. My husband cannot walk. Please help us." The cries rose quickly. Amanda felt overwhelmed. The angel's voice spoke gently. "You cannot heal everyone at once." Amanda lifted her hand to calm the crowd. "I cannot do everything," she said honestly, "but I can try when it is right." The priestess stepped into the courtyard behind her. The shadow stretched wide now, almost touching Amanda's feet. Amanda felt cold. The priestess raised her voice. "If she fails even once, will you still call her light?" she challenged the crowd. The people fell silent. The king watched carefully. Amanda's heart beat fast. This was a test. The priestess pointed toward a man lying on a mat near the front. He looked weak and thin. "He has been blind for 20 years, the priestess said loudly. "If your angel is real, heal him now." The crowd gasped again. Amanda's hands trembled. 20 years? The angel's voice was quiet for a second. Too quiet. Amanda swallowed. "What if I can't?" she whispered inside. The priestess smiled slowly. "Yes," she said, "what if you can't?" The crowd waited. The king held his breath. Amanda stepped toward the blind man. Her legs felt heavy. The shadow behind the priestess grew darker, and for the first time, Amanda felt doubt. What if this time nothing happens? She knelt beside the man, placed her small hand gently on his head, and whispered, "Angel, please don't leave me now." The entire kingdom seemed to hold its breath. And then, the man suddenly screamed louder than Babasani had, but not in pain, in terror. He pushed Amanda's hand away violently and shouted, "I see fire, fire everywhere." The crowd exploded in fear. Fire? Is she cursed? The priestess's smile widened, and Amanda felt the light inside her flicker again as dark clouds suddenly rolled across the sky. The blind man's scream shook the courtyard. "I see fire, fire everywhere." The crowd scattered in fear. Women grabbed their children, and men jumped back. Some people fell to their knees. "Witch," someone shouted, "she has brought evil." Dark clouds rolled across the bright afternoon sky. The sun disappeared. Wind began to blow. Amanda's heart pounded loudly in her chest. She did not move. She did not run. She looked at the man lying before her. His eyes were wide open, not empty, not blind, but full of fear. "What do you see?" Amanda asked softly. The man shook his head wildly. "Flames, burning. I is not light. This is destruction. Thee is not light. This is destruction." The shadow behind her grew darker, stretching across the courtyard like black smoke. Amanda felt cold again. The angel's voice was very quiet now. "Listen carefully." Amanda swallowed. Is it real fire? She asked the man gently. Is it burning you? The man paused. He blinked several times. No, I don't feel heat. Amanda leaned closer. Look again. Don't be afraid. Look slowly. The man's breathing slowed. He squinted hard. The wind stopped suddenly. The courtyard became strangely still. The man blinked again. Then his face changed. The fire, he whispered. Yes? Amanda asked. It is not fire. The crowd froze. What is it? Someone shouted. The man stared upward, confused. It is light, he said slowly. Too much light. Are years, she said gently. His eyes are years, she said gently. His eyes are waking up. It is too bright for him. The man covered his face with his hands. It hurts because it is new, Amanda continued, but it is not evil. The king stepped forward quickly. Bring cloth, he ordered. A guard rushed and placed a soft cloth over the man's eyes to block some of the sunlight. Slowly the man lowered his hands again. He blinked carefully. Then he gasped. I see. Shapes, he whispered. The crowd leaned closer. I see the palace wall. He turned his head slowly. I see people standing. His voice began to tremble. And I see the little girl. A deep silence fell over the courtyard. The man began to cry, not from fear, from joy. I see you, he said to Amanda. You are small, and you are shining. The people gasped. Then the cheering began again. She did it. It is real. Light of Ida. The priestess's smile disappeared completely. The shadow behind her flickered like smoke in wind. Amanda felt the angel's voice return stronger now. Do not attack the darkness. Expose it. Amanda stood up slowly. She faced the priestess. I did not bring fire, she said calmly. The fire was fear. The priestess tightened her grip on her staff. You dare speak to me like this, she snapped. Amanda did not shout back. She only looked at her quietly. Why are you afraid? Amanda asked. The question felt heavy in the air. The priestess stiffened. I am not afraid, she replied quickly. Amanda tilted her head slightly. When people stop fearing you, you think you lose power, she said softly. Gasps spread again. The king watched closely. The shadow behind the priestess seemed to shrink slightly. You claim to speak to spirits, Amanda continued, but the spirit behind you does not feel like light. The priestess's eyes widened. For a second, just 1 second, she turned her head slightly, as if she felt something too. But she quickly straightened. You are a child, she shouted. You know nothing. Amanda stepped forward carefully. The crowd parted again. I know this, she said. Light does not fight for control. Light helps. The wind picked up again, but this time, the dark clouds began to move away slowly. A thin line of sunlight broke through the sky. The shadow behind the priestess flickered once more. Then something strange happened. The priestess's red beads snapped. They fell to the ground and scattered across the courtyard. The crowd gasped loudly. In Ida Kingdom, that was a sign. A broken bead necklace meant broken authority. The priestess looked down at the beads in shock. The shadow behind her twisted violently, and then vanished completely. A bigger because people feared it. The bigger because people feared it. The priestess dropped her staff. Her shoulders slumped. She looked suddenly smaller, not powerful, just human. The king stepped forward slowly. Ayalode Morenike, he said firmly. Your time of leading through fear is over. The courtyard was silent again. The priestess said nothing. Eat steps and stood before Amanda. You are steps and stood before Amanda. You are young, he said softly. But you carry something this kingdom needs. Amanda looked up at him. I don't want power, she said simply. The king smiled slightly. Then you are the safest person to hold it. The crowd began chanting again. Ah, Light of Ida! Light of Ida! Amanda's parents rushed to her and hugged her tightly. Mama Nkechi cried into her daughter's shoulder. My little girl, she whispered. What are you becoming? Amanda held her mother gently. She looked at the sky. The clouds were gone now. The sun shone brightly, but deep inside her chest, she felt something different. Not weakness, not fear, but a ticking feeling, like time was moving faster. The angel's voice spoke again, softer now. You have begun the mission. But time is not endless. Amanda's eyes widened slightly. How long? She whispered quietly. There was a long pause, then the answer came. Until you become a woman. Amanda swallowed hard. She was only 9, but suddenly, 18 did not feel far away. The crowd cheered around her. The king raised her hand high in the air, but Amanda knew something the others did not. Her power had a limit, and every miracle was using up that time. She looked across the courtyard at the people celebrating. Then she whispered inside her heart, "Then I will not waste a single day." But as the cheering grew louder, far beyond the palace walls, in a quiet part of the forest, a pair of glowing eyes opened in the darkness, watching, waiting, and smiling. 9 years passed, 9 years of healing, 9 years of hope, 9 years of Amanda walking from house to house in Ida Kingdom, barefoot in the dust, carrying nothing but her small cloth bag and her quiet smile. She healed fevers, she helped the lame walk again, she comforted the dying, she whispered to her angel before every miracle, and every time she did, she felt a tiny piece of warmth leave her chest. Not painfully, just softly, like a candle burning lower. The children who once bullied her now followed her around. Kolade became one of her helpers. He carried water, he held hands of the sick, and he never mocked her again. "Sorry for before," he told her once, looking down at his feet. Amanda only smiled. "It's okay," she said. "We were all small once." As Amanda grew older, her face changed. Her voice became stronger, her steps became steadier, but deep inside she felt the ticking. The angel's voice came less often now, not because it was gone, but because Amanda no longer needed to hear it loudly. She understood her mission. Then came the year she turned 18. The kingdom gathered again in the palace courtyard. The king was older now, his beard had more white in it. The people were not gathered because of sickness this time. They were gathered for a decision. King Adeyemi stood tall before the crowd. "For generations," he said, "the title of chief healer has belonged only to men." The elders nodded slowly. "But tradition exists to protect truth," he continued, "not to block it." He turned toward Amanda, now 18, tall, graceful, still simple. "I still humble." "You have given Ida Kingdom 9 years of light," the king said. "You have asked for nothing in return." Amanda bowed her head slightly. She felt calm, strangely calm. The angel's voice whispered softly one last time, "Your time is almost complete." Amanda swallowed gently. The crowd began chanting again. "Light of Ida! Light of Ida!" The king raised his hand for silence. "Today," he declared, "we break old tradition. Today, Amanda will be crowned chief of Ida Kingdom." Gasps filled the air. Some elders looked unsure, but no one protested loudly, because no one could deny what she had done. The king placed a simple golden bead necklace around Amanda's neck, not red like the old priestess. Gold, warm, bright. The crowd cheered loudly. Mama Nkechi cried again. Papa Chinedu stood proudly with tears in his eyes. Amanda smiled, but deep inside, she felt something shift, like a door closing gently. Later that evening, as the celebration continued, Amanda slipped away quietly. She walked to the old mango tree where Baba Sani used to sing. The sky was painted orange and pink. The air was calm. She sat down slowly on the wooden bench and whispered softly, "Angel." There was silence for a moment, then warmth filled her chest, but no voice. She smiled. "I understand," she said quietly. She placed her hand over her heart and felt nothing burning anymore, nothing glowing, nothing ticking. The power was gone. Not stolen, not taken. Simply finished. Amanda closed her eyes. She did not feel sad. She felt full. She heard footsteps behind her. It was Baba Sani, walking steadily now without help. "You should be at your celebration," he said warmly. Amanda smiled. "I wanted quiet first." He sat beside her. "You changed my life," he said. Amanda shook her head gently. "No," she replied. "Light was always there. I just reminded you." He looked at her carefully. "You don't glow the same way," he said softly. Amanda laughed quietly. "I don't need to anymore." The sun slowly disappeared behind the trees. The kingdom was peaceful, the forest beyond the walls was quiet, even the darkness that once watched had faded. Amanda stood up slowly. Tomorrow she would lead with wisdom, not miracles. She would teach others to heal with kindness, not magic. She would remind the kingdom that true light did not belong to one person. It belonged to everyone. The next morning, Ina's chief Amanda of Ida Kingdom stood before her people. She spoke clearly. "Miracles are not for showing power," she said. "They are for showing love." The crowd listened closely. "We do not need fear to guide us," she continued. "We need courage." The people nodded, and this time they did not cheer loudly. They bowed respectfully. Because they understood, Amanda had begun as a quiet girl who talked to herself, mocked, ignored, called strange. But in the end, she did not become powerful because she had magic. She became powerful because she chose light over fear. And as the sun rose high above Ida Kingdom, Amanda smiled peacefully. Her mission was complete, and Ida Kingdom would never be the same as again. Thank you for watching. Please like this video and subscribe to our channel for interesting videos.